You're listening to the Todd Huff Radio Show, America's home for conservative, not bitter talk radio. Be advised that the content of this program has been documented to prevent and even cure liberalism, and listening may cause you to lean to the right. Here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Oh, well, that is right. You are listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk and education, which maybe we'll talk about that as well as we continue to move forward in a couple of areas here to not just talk about things, but to actually make a difference for the cause of constitutional conservatism, for the cause of for the cause of logic and reason as well. Return to morality, return to our senses, to abandon these morally bankrupt ideas, which are truly just collapsing around us, utter collapse, imploding right before our very eyes, whether we're watching the nation of Chaz or Chop, whether we're watching what's happening in Portland and other places around this country, whether we're watching what's happening in Washington, D.C., when we're looking at what works in the economy, what works for a free society. When we watch these things, it doesn't take much study to see truly what does work. But yet we constantly seem to be doing the opposite. It's good to be here. Thank you for joining us. YouTube here. We're on YouTube. Hour number 2. Good morning or good afternoon whenever you're watching on YouTube. It's nice to have you on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our page on YouTube. And like I said, it's good to be here. No matter where you're listening, on the radio, Freedom 95 in Indianapolis, KYAH 540 AM in Utah. But just wherever you're watching or listening, I should say, or watching, it's good to have you here, podcasters, whatever the case may be. So I want to talk now. Last hour we talked about how you can help provide for the needs of the nation of Chaz. Read a little bit from a piece written by Kurt Schlichter about the bravery of companies and celebrities who are denouncing racism as though the rest of us really are. It's as though they're being brave in the face of those who are clamoring for more racism. It's just patently absurd. I'm not suggesting that there's no racist in America. That's, of course, absurd as well. But what I am saying is that most people are not. Most people are not, and we're certainly not dealing with systematic racism that we're told that we are. You ever notice that the things that the left tries to convince you of are things that you can't see on you can't see on your own? Again, I'm not minimizing real issues of real racism. I'm not doing that. That's atrocious, reprehensible. But this idea of systemic or systematic racism is just not an accurate depiction of what's going on in America. There are not crimes that only Black Americans are charged with. Some people say they're charged at a higher percentage. But you look at the more, you have to look at where the police are going. I mean, should police not go to communities, to Black communities, and arrest those who are committing crimes? I mean, if that's who they're catching, look, we're all capable. No crime is contingent upon your race, right? I mean, we're all made in the image of our Creator, of our God. And so our race is just one factor. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but in another sense, we're just humans first. We're Americans, specifically. And so the idea that, of course, white people are just as bad, could do just as atrocious things. They do just as atrocious things. And there are good people in both groups. There are bad people in all groups. Again, I've said this, Christian, atheist, there's people who do bad things, white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever the groups are. There's bad people in all all areas. And what makes us bad are our choices, not our DNA or our genetics. I mean, of course, the way we're raised and the ideology that we embrace can impact that as well. If we're embracing an ideology of hate, if we're embracing an ideology that tells us that, that we can get away with certain things, if that's our ideology, then that's problematic. But these things are not, they're not based upon race. It's based upon the human condition for all people, all genders, all sexual orientations, which is what I want to get to here, talking about sexual orientation as it pertains to the law. So the Supreme Court ruled yesterday. Supreme Court rules that gay workers are protected from job discrimination, giving the LGBTQ community a victory. So the Supreme Court, I'm looking at this article on Fox News, Supreme Court handed a big win to the LGBT community. I'm not sure why they don't include the Q, but nonetheless, on Monday, ruling in a 6-3 decision that an employer who fires a worker for being gay or transgender violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which already, I question the way that this is written here, but already protected people from employer sex discrimination as well as discrimination based on race, color, religion, or national origin. So, the court said you're not allowed by law to fire someone based upon their sexual orientation or whether or not they're transgender. That violates the Civil Rights Act. Which, look, pause. Let me say this, because I know that some people think this obviously should be included. Others think that it obviously shouldn't be. That there should at least be exemption for religious organizations whose faith says that these that these behaviors are not consistent with their faith and their what the Bible teaches and so forth, and they should be able to have the right to terminate someone who believes or acts in a way that's not in alignment with the teachings of their particular faith, which matters as well because that's a First Amendment freedom of religion issue. But more basic even than that, which I'm not glossing over that, by the way, but I want to go to the more basic, I think the more basic fundamental problem here is that the court made this up. Now, I know that there are strong emotions on this, both sides. I know that. I understand that. But I also know that the role, I should say, of the court is to interpret law. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VII, it has a list, or it's not a list, but it's a sentence. It talks about discrimination based upon the race, color, religion, national origin, sex, sexual or sex discrimination. It lists these out. It's part of what it says. It does not list out. It does not list sexual orientation or whether or not someone is or isn't transgender. Now, you should say it should. I understand that, but that's the job of the and that's the important part of this. That's the job of the legislature. See, the legislature is the group that is supposed to be writing the laws. Now, what's funny is the legislature, in many cases, doesn't want to do anything, or they want to pass a bunch of laws. They want to pass a bunch of laws, but when it comes to the really critical issues, they don't want to do anything about it. They want to use that issue to politically help themselves in the next election. So the group that's really supposed to be legislating is really out there politicking. They're really out there trying to simply keep their position of power. They're not trying, and again, this is with a broad brush. There are examples of people who don't fall into this category, but generally speaking, what I'm telling you is an accurate depiction. Our legislative branch doesn't want to legislate. They want to politic. Our judicial branch doesn't want to judge the law. They want to create it. But see, one of the reasons is, and you see the brilliance of the founders, the folks that legislate have to be held accountable or are held accountable by the voters. That's why they're voted into office every 2 or 6 years, depending upon whether you're a member of the U.S. House or a senator in the U.S. Senate. 6-year seats for senators. That's a tongue twister. 2-year seats, terms of service for members of the House and House of Representatives. So they don't. Supreme Court justices are appointed for lifetime. So once they're in, folks, they're in. There's nothing really that can be done. I mean, Congress can, you can try to, I guess, impeach a Supreme Court justice, but this is, well, I don't want to say it won't be done, but it typically hasn't been done. Given the climate that we're facing politically, it wouldn't surprise me if we started doing that on a regular basis. In fact, remember when Kavanaugh was appointed, that was one of the promises. In fact, don't be surprised if the next administration, if it's, God forbid, it's Biden instead of Trump here. But if the next administration wins, I don't put it past them to try to do that. That was one of the things that they vowed to do after Kavanaugh was confirmed to the high court back in whenever that was, 2018 now, is that right? The fall of 2018. So going on 2 years. But the 3 justices that voted against this, Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh, Gorsuch joined, along with Chief Justice John Roberts, which he's portrayed as some conservative. Chief Justice John Roberts is not a conservative. And I want to talk about that too, because it's not the job of the courts, no matter what you think about this, if it was listed in the law, then it should have been applied. But if it's not listed, then the court should have said, look, it's not. I mean, Thomas and Alito and Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh are right here. Now, there's 2 different dissenting opinions, and I think one of them, was it Alito? I can't remember which one wrote a dissent kind of addressing this. Maybe it was Kavanaugh, talking about this is a victory for this community, and maybe even this is something that should be the case. Maybe this should be the law, but it's not. That's the point. It's not the law. So this is a dangerous, and this is not the first time this has happened, and it will not be the last, but it is a dangerous way that we operate. Laws mean things. Laws mean things. So what should have happened, let's just say for the sake of argument that these 2 classes of people, or however you look at this, gay and transgendered individuals should be included under the 1904 Civil Rights Act. Let's say that that's your opinion. Let's say that that's even the right thing. I'm not making a judgment either way. I'm just saying, let's just say for the sake of discussion. Then the right way for this to work would have been the justices read what the law said, didn't put their own spin on it, their own preference, try to correct Congress for what Congress did. They should have said, look, it doesn't say this. This is not the intent. That's not what we're not going to read. They have a problem with the original intent of what the founders meant, but yet they'll interpret things in other statutes where they can say, well, they really would have gone farther in this situation had they had the opportunity to do so. They don't want to talk about the fundamental intent of the Constitution and all the kind of bedrock principles that it's built upon, but they do want to give these laws that are written. They want to extend those into all sorts of areas that it was never intended to do. So they should have said no. This is rather easy. It would go back to Congress, and Congress could fix it. Congress could fix it. And if they didn't do what the American people wanted, we have a campaign coming up here, even though we haven't talked a whole lot about it because the world's been on fire and coronavirus has been, the story that we've been following here. We've all been locked down. Our lives have been radically changed, at least for a period of time. And maybe longer. Maybe talk about that as well. But anyway, so that's the way this should have been done. And so they could debate it in Congress, in the House and in the Senate, create the same piece of legislation. It goes to the president's desk for his signature or his veto. And then whatever happens from that series of events is what the law of the land is. But that's not what happened. Instead, a group of 6 justices got together and they said, this really should have been included. This needs to be included. The people that wrote this law, had they been alive today and understood where society is today, they would have included it. So we'll just go ahead and include it in there. That's really not the way that this should work. And the point is, even if the decision, the conclusion is the quote unquote right decision, which let's say it is, just for the sake, again, I'm not making a judgment here, but let's just say it is. Just because it's the right thing doesn't mean that the process matters. The process matters, because if they can do that on things that are clearly right and exercise power in a way that they don't really have. They don't have the power to legislate. If they can do it on things that we allow them to do because we collectively nod in agreement, then that's a step towards them making that decision and legislating from the bench in areas and ways that the American people do not agree with. And there's no recourse for the voter. There's no recourse for the voter. These Supreme Court justices are there for life. And may I propose that this has happened. To me, the most obvious one is the issue of same-sex marriage. This was soundly defeated many, many, many times when it's up for referendum over the course of the past, 20, 30 years. It was consistently soundly defeated, but suddenly the court found that constitutional right tucked away somewhere in the Constitution. Of course, they can't find the right to keep and bear arms, even though that's got a number 2 next to it. They can't find that. It's clearly written. They want to tell you that that's not there, but yet they find other rights in the Constitution that lead to decisions that clearly are not consistent with their role or the founders' intention as to what these things meant. But that's where we are, right? And so this is dangerous. This is not the role of our government, not the role of the courts, no matter what the decision, even if it's something that I fervently agree in, right? It's just not. There's times that all good things do not need to be legislated or ruled on by a court. I think listening to this program is a great idea for you. Fantastic. Best way you can start your day. No doubt about it. But the idea that I then should take that to the conclusion that says, and as such, you should be required to listen to the show. I would only say that in jest, which maybe I add that to some of the things I say, such as listening to this show has been proven, documented to be true by 98% of scientists. Even 1% of scientists then agree that global warming is being contributed to, climate change being created by man driving around in his SUVs. Anyway, these things matter, folks. These things matter. And if we don't follow the prescribed method, we end up with stupid stuff like the nation of Chaz, which we talked about last hour. But I got to take a break really long in this segment. Sit tight. Be back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at zuluscape.com.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Come, Mr. Quick, Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the word. For on time.
Are you an electrician, plumber, or handyman looking for an 8-to-5 job that pays you what you're worth? Copper Ridge Home Services wants you. Our veteran-owned family business offers holiday pay, weekends off, and on-site training for entry-level positions. Our team is growing, so if you have a can-do attitude, we want you to be part of that growth. Ready for a change? Give Copper Ridge a call at 317-839-6100. That's 317-839-6100. Copper Ridge Home Services. We value your time.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went, in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC. Welcome back. All right, so just posting, actually scheduling that article from Fox News to Facebook. If you want to read that, you can check that out on Facebook. But it matters. These things matter. Interpreting the law is the job of the Supreme Court, not legislating, not creating. And this goes for people of both sides of this debate, whether that issue aside, but no matter where you find yourself on the political spectrum, can we all please, for the sake of this country, can we all agree that legislating from the bench, creating law in the Supreme Court, adding to law, changing it from the bench is not the sign of a healthy republic? It really isn't. These things are not complicated. The justices, they want to tell us what the right thing to do is. And even if it's the right thing to do, it's not the job of the court. And I know that might seem really benign to some people. But exercising unconstitutional authority, grabbing for yourself more power than you should have, than has been given to you by the people through the founding documents of this nation, that is not a good thing. That is actually a very bad thing. And we have to treat it as such. Even if the outcome, the final conclusion, is what we maybe in some cases is even demonstrably the best case. It's not, though. It's not the best case when you have to circumvent the traditional power structure and do things in a way that's not consistent with the Constitution and the rule of law. And that's what that case is. Even if you think they ended up at the right conclusion, that the 1964 law is, designed to protect people from being fired for, their sexual orientation or whether or not they're transgender, even if that is a good law, this is not a good way to get there. Laws are created, should be created in Congress. And again, it's just funny to me. It's not. It's really sad. But Congress, whose job it is to make legislation, doesn't want to make real tough legislation. I mean, I can point to countless examples. The reason we have massive deficits is because of Congress. The reason we have massive national debt, federal debt, is because of Congress. Congress controls the purse strings. The president doesn't do that. The president can take executive action insofar as Congress has relegated that responsibility to him, or that ability to take over that particular area to him. So there's things the president can do, but Congress decides how much money we spend. Congress is the group that raises taxes. Congress is the one that creates law. And they're held accountable. That's the reason, by the way. They're held accountable because this is the role, that we have, or that Congress has. We hold them accountable for that. There's elections. And so if we don't like the laws that they're creating, we can hold them accountable and remove them from office. It goes to the courts, and that's not the case. The court's supposed to be interpreting. The court's supposed to be holding Congress accountable. If Congress messed this up, then Congress needs to fix it. Now you can say, well, Todd, that's crazy to think that Congress can come together right now in this volatile climate. Well, I would ask you, why is that crazy? Why should that not be the expectation? We've allowed this nonsense to the voter. We've allowed this to happen. We have allowed Congress to get to the point where they do nothing other than they do nothing but politic. Nothing but politic. It's all about a dog and pony show. Now, there are some exceptions to that statement, but by and large, this is all about what something looks like, what they can get out of something, how they can benefit from something, how this can help the re-election campaign or fundraising efforts or what have you. And so they're the ones that should be creating it. All they're trying to do is politic. And meanwhile, we've got a group of 9 justices in black robes meeting in Washington, D.C. in closed chamber after hearing. I mean, the arguments are available for anyone to hear and to read, and so are the decisions that these justices write. But they make these decisions behind closed doors. We ultimately see who votes where, right? 6-3 decision. These 6 voted in favor of applying the law to same-sex gay individuals or transgendered individuals, but it's not in the law. But again, so we can see who does it, but there's no way of holding them accountable. And I don't mean to be a stickler here, but this is a big problem. This, by the way, remember the Supreme Court, I forget which justice it was. I want to say Brennan. Is that right? It could have been someone else. It was Stephen Breyer. I think that's what I meant to say anyway. I said, but anyway, so one of these radical leftists said that you can cite foreign law. And it doesn't really matter. Cite foreign law. You might be thinking, what does foreign law have to do with our law? Nothing. It has nothing to do with it. But yet he says that you can cite foreign law, which prompted me to say we're a half a step away from citing Harry Potter novels. And I'm not picking on Harry Potter. Take whatever you want. An op-ed from the New York Times, from some radical leftist, from the Communist Manifesto. Why not? Why not? See, the thing is, they can't be held accountable. Who's going to hold them accountable? You can say that Congress could try to impeach them, but that's not going to happen. Half the Congress is going to be on the side of the Well, if it's a liberal, guaranteed half the Congress will support him or her. If it's a conservative, sometimes the conservatives get weak-kneed and scared and can be bullied into not supporting them. But the truth is, there's really no desire or effort to do that. And that's how the system works. Shouldn't be. We've got to get back to the basics here for this nation to survive and to thrive. Because right now, it is chaotic. It is largely in disrepair in some of these radically insane places around this country. So, but do we have the political willpower? Can we see past all the other things that we're discussing and fighting about or whatever? Can we look and say, there's another problem here? And that is the fundamental way that this is working. It's being abused by people, and no matter whether, even if they come down to benefit my side, and I'll make this pledge to you, if I see that happening, I will voice my disagreement with it. If someone acts outside the role of their authority and it advances my ideology, constitutional conservatism, I will point that out, because that's not good. It's not. Anytime force is being used, and that's a form of force, if you're acting outside the relegated authority given to you by the people of this great nation, anytime you act with force or outside of that realm of authority and control, that is abusive. That is not the way that it's designed to work. And as such, it cannot be a good conclusion. You know, our motivations matter. The way that we get there matters. I mean, there's something very appealing about the win-at-all-cost mentality, and I agree with that in large part, but not completely. Not if it means violating core principles, not if it means violating the moral law, not if it means undermining what we have in this great nation in the form of our Constitution and the way that this nation was set up to work. But some folks say, whatever we have to do to win, do it. Doesn't matter the damage done, we have to win. And suddenly, you do that long enough, and you can see why there's intense tension and just conflict in this nation, clearly being fueled by some of that as well. Long in this segment as well. Next segment's going to be really short to get us back on track. Got to take a time out. You're listening to Conservative, Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
Hi, I'm Greg Hubler from Greg Hubler Chevrolet. You know, a promise can get lost in a big city, but in a smaller town, a promise made had better be a promise kept. That's why the Greg Hubler Promise covers every vehicle we sell. All new Chevys receive a 3-year, 45,000-mile scheduled maintenance, plus complimentary roadside assistance and a free car wash with every visit. A promise made is a promise kept. Stop by Greg Hubler Chevy today or visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Hi, my name is John Swadner, Sales Director of the Todd Huff Show. As a listener of the program, you know the show is growing. 4 years ago, it began as a podcast in a closet. Today, It's a 2-hour show that airs during morning drive in Indy and in Utah, and we're just scratching the surface. Todd brought me on board to help the show and our advertisers grow. That's why I'm specifically looking for partners who are a good fit to advertise with us. Would that be you? To learn more about what advertising would look like and to determine if it's a good fit for your business, shoot me an email to john@toddhuffshow.com. And be sure to ask me about some of our special packages that will save you up to 40%. Email john@toddhuffshow.com. Shoot me an email today.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
I love my community, and I wanted to do more to make a difference with my hard-earned dollars. I wanted to make an impact and help shape our future and our county. So I gave money to the Community Foundation of Morgan County. More than just charitable giving, the money I donate is tracked and measured so every dollar is held accountable. It's a social return on your investment. Why don't you join me in donating at cfmconline.org? That's cfmconline.org. Philanthropy with measurable impact.
Welcome back. So, we have lots of problems in this nation. And it's easy when there are so many politically charged issues, when there's so many overwhelmingly powerful emotions, opinions on these critically important issues. And I'm not saying that they're not critically important. What I am saying is that we should be troubled, equally as troubled, by something that seems as benign as a group of 6 justices acting outside the rule, outside their authority. Because when you get down to it, you look at 2016's election. This is just one example to me. The things that happened to President Trump in 2016, when you saw the abuse of the FISA court, when you saw the spying on his campaign, all these things that are going to continue to come out. Now, what Congress does with them, I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath that they're finally going to actually seek justice for some of these individuals who have taken advantage of our system or used it for their own personal gain or what have you, like Hillary Clinton did. But that's the same thing. It's the same thing. And you can say, well, one of them used it for what they thought was a good intention. The other used it for what they viewed as a bad intention. I don't even get into that. What makes it bad, what makes something like that bad, is doing something that's outside the rule of the rules of the Constitution, of the law. And we've seen that run rampant. That's why it's called the swamp. I go back to the smug Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, is that right? I go back to that situation. She's now a contributor, I think, on CNN. Perfect. I think it's CNN. It could be MSNBC. One of these radical outlets. But it should bother Americans. It should bother Americans when the court acts outside its rule. I understand that's not a sexy thing. That's not getting the headlines. There's not a fight in the streets like there is over same-sex marriage or accusations of racism, right? Those are really personal to a lot of people, right? And understandably so. And these are the issues that matter. But the way that we handle the issues through our system matters as well. And writing law from the bench in the Supreme Court of the United States of America is not a good thing, even if it creates an outcome that you find yourself applauding with. Be careful, friends. That's a dangerous, slippery slope that leads to bad things. And candidly, it's that carried out to its extreme, which I think we saw in 2016 with the campaign, the deep state campaign to stop Trump, or the swamps campaign, or whatever you want to call it. That's what this looks like. That's what this mentality can lead us to. Well, suddenly it doesn't matter if you follow this rule or this law, this regulation. Again, I'm not a big fan of a bunch of regulations, but there needs to be some limitations and guidance and so forth. But suddenly we can get to the point to where we justify having actual members of the FBI trying to prevent someone from being elected president. And that should enrage every American too, even if they hate Trump. But it just goes to show how deeply, how people value their political opinions and viewpoints more than they value some of these fundamental problems. These fundamental problems of, you talk about right and wrong. This is one that's clear. And I got to take a break. Going to come back and change gears here a little bit, but continue this discussion, our conversation here on the Todd Huff Show. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
All right, here we go. $100 now, $200
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went, in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
Welcome back. So, I referenced a couple of other things earlier in the program that I want to get to really quickly. So I want to start here with Popovich. Good old Coach Pop. You know, I used to be a big fan of Popovich, and I don't even care. He coaches the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA, if you don't follow this. He's actually from Indiana, northern Indiana. I forget what city, but I think it's up in the region, as they say, somewhere in northwest Indiana. I enjoyed watching him. He gets interviewed during the games. It still tickles me if I watch. I may never watch this stuff again. I've just had it with this stuff. But I watch him get interviewed during the games. They have to do these interviews with media during the games, I think before two different quarters. And he answers questions. He kind of views it as a game to answer the questions as briefly as possible. And I really love it. He developed a good relationship with Craig Sager, who tragically passed away from cancer at TNT. And he's gotten to be a little bit better, I think, about it. But there for a while, I mean, I'm sure these reporters were dreading it. He was not very nice to them, and maybe understandably so. So I really liked Pop. I think he was a good coach. I don't even know anymore. But anyway, he's being interviewed by the New York Times. Couple of things came up. Number one, he says he went to the Air Force Academy. I did not know this. Maybe I should have known this, but I did not know this. He says the flag is irrelevant. It's just a symbol that people glom onto for political reasons. The flag is irrelevant. Seems like a not based in reality whatsoever. Of course, the flag is a symbol. The flag is, that's the definition of a symbol, but to say a symbol is irrelevant is not. I mean, there's meaning to that flag, meaning that that's people hold very close to their heart. People fought and died for ideas that flag represents. I would not call that irrelevant in the slightest. I'm more inclined to think that his comments are irrelevant. Another thing that caught my attention as I read this article in the New York Times, it said, Maureen Dowd is who wrote this, which of course she's a radical leftist, but she said that when she was talking about Popovich and Trump, it's just amazing how these folks try to get away with this stuff, presented as facts. She said, basically that Popovich is, what'd she call him, principled and thoughtful, and she has to throw in Trump in there, who's, of course, not principled and not thoughtful. I'm paraphrasing. I can't find the exact spot here as time is dwindling away. Anyway, not even going to tell you what Oz is over here doing, but I have to take a time out. Just out of time here. But look, this is what we're dealing with in the sports world. You know, when I see sports, when I'm out at lunch sometimes, and I see some of these places have sports running on the TVs in the dining area, and you watch what they're saying. Sometimes there's captioning. Sometimes you can hear the volume, but you listen to this. This is all. It's an anti-Trump movement. The sports media has become the political media, and the sports media is more radical, I think, than even the political media. But since there's no sports going on, and they can only tell you 50 times who the best NBA player of all time is. They're just running out of things to talk about. So they're talking about this stuff more and more and more, and it's making people like you and me or whoever else less and less interested in watching their product. Got to take a break. Listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegieAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegee, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegieAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804.
Ever wondered what shooting a real machine gun feels like? At Indy Trading Post, you can have an awesome and safe shooting experience in our family-friendly environment. Firing a weapon on full auto is something you will always remember. Schedule some range time today and let Indy Trading Post give you the real machine gun shooting experience. We guarantee you'll have a blast. Give us a call at 317-782-4867 or schedule your range time at fullautoindy.com.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, president of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
All right, folks. Again, I hate to be the bearer of the bad news, but we are coming to an end here of hour number 2 for today's program. But fear not, we will be back tomorrow. And of course, there's lots of look, I mean, it is a never-ending battle. I have to choose. I tell folks, when I first started this show, which has been getting close to 5 years ago, starting as a podcaster in the bedroom closet, I wondered, how can we create content? How can we find things to talk about? Of course, 5 years ago, I mean, this could be an 8-hour program today with all the stuff going on. We just scratched the surface here, but program will continue tomorrow. Also today, the newsletter goes out. It's free. You can subscribe by texting the word Huff to 31996 or by visiting toddhuffshow.com/subscribe. And that newsletter will go out later today. Guys, thank you so much for listening. It's good to be here. And appreciate you very much. SDG. See you tomorrow. Take care.